Stories are a criminal currency of humanity. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Pooja Dikshit Joshi, and associate professor of sociology and a story and a empathetic counselor, welcomes you all for this wonderful international fest, Storyteller Fest, presented by CWMA. To brief about me, I have been into education with 25 years experience and I specialize in women and gender studies. My journey has been fueled by a passion for nurturing a supportive education environment and engaging in impactful dialogue at a national and international conferences. Today, I am privileged to be a moderator of such a wonderful fest. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wisely said, the creation of 1,000 forests isn't in one acorn. Each story shared today holds the potential to inspire movement, shift perspective, and plant the seed of compassion and insight. Through storytelling, we learn, connect, and uplift one another. This festival brings together a remarkable array of experts, each with a unique narrative style and approach to storytelling. Our lineup features award winning authors, poets, educators, and global speakers who will share their tales, unlocking new worlds and fueling our imagination, leaving us with a lesson that will resonate long after today. And today is auspicious day of Dashera and Durga Puja. And I think today we will be learning from each one of you. So let's embark on this journey together where every story told is a step towards more empathetic, inclusive, and inspired world. And on this note, I would like to introduce my founder of CWMA, Professor Rachna Chakravarti. And it's a pleasure to introduce her because I have been learning so much from her. And she has been into this field of education since 26 years and with a rich teaching experience. Right now, she is a principal of an esteemed Mumbai institute. She is an award winning educationist, global speaker, poet, and edu mentor. She is a visionary. I think everybody will agree with that. With her impactful work includes conducting teachers training workshop for the Leeds group of school and presenting at various educational platforms, including ECCE panels, Sunbeam School, and Abundant College in Assam. Her influence stretches internationally with appearance on Russian TV and collaboration with literary society and universities in Romania and Sri Lanka. She frequently served as a chief guest or a guest of honor at diverse events in education and the art, and her research on teenage years has been published in Roman magazine Manual. As a facilitator for ILS Sri Lanka, she leads sessions on sustainable development goals for youth. So the list is too long to say. Please join me in welcoming Professor Rachna Chakravarti to share her inspiring vision for the International Storyteller Fest. Over to Rachna, ma'am. Just we all wanted to hear a few lines from you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pooja. That was so nice. Yes, it is. Life is full of stories. I just feel that, and it's only the way how we communicate and tell our life stories with others and share what we had learned from our experiences. There are many small instances of our life, and especially with so many like-minded people who love storytelling and take it as a medium to interact with the youngsters, with the youth, with the people who really want to do something in their life. So I believe storytelling is the best way of communication. So that is how I wanted some like minded people together and who have really, in that pinnacle, reached their heights. Meeting so many good people and talking to them, listening to their stories always inspires me. I believe life is a process of learning, and every day we learn a bit, little bit. So today is my huge glass of learning, which I'll be taking it from all the learned, eminent personalities who have joined in across the globe. Thank you, Pooja ji. It's very nice to have you as a moderator, as a host, because the number of, the ways you moderate it, really love it. The way you just say about each of our guests, those adjectives, the phrases. It's really, really nice to hear it from you. Thank you so much. And once again, welcome to all the dignitaries who took out their valuable time. I know Sunday is a weekend with family time, and but still giving time for CWMA. I really pleasure it. And one more thing before I go out and I want to listen to others, I would like to wish Rania ma'am. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Rania ma'am. So it's a pleasure to have you. I know you might be
Happy
very
birthday.
busy.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday.
Thank you
from
so
all of
much.
us.
Thank you.
From all of us.
Where is the cake? You should have you should have
Online
a
cake.
digital cake.
Yeah, definitely we will have a virtual cake, sir, at the end of the session.
Yes. Okay, so over to you, Pooja ji. Please
Thank
continue.
you so much, Professor Chakravarti ma'am. And I think the words which you have stated here is very inspiring, is because everybody has a story to tell. And when we hear from some renowned people because of their experience, we all are going to learn so many things. So to brief about the vision and the mission of CWA, Institute of Skill Development, as we talk about skill, because skill is something which we all have, but we need to just take it out and we need to know that what we are good at. So this our mission is to create a bridge between academia and the literary world, empowering students and educators to engage in innovative literary projects that advance creative writing and critical thinking. The vision of the CWMA is to build a global network of educators and students, writers committed to advancing creative expressions and literary excellence through collaborative initiative and educational partnership. And for this, I would like to congratulate again Chakrati ma'am that you are being doing a wonderful job for collaborating if we talk about. So today we are here with this wonderful international fest. So as we embark to the spirit of storytelling today, it is essential to recognize its importance. As we all know that storytelling is just not an art, it's a profound tool for learning and connection. It fosters empathy, encourages critical thinking, and enhance communication skills. Stories can transport us to different world, challenges our perspective, and ignite our imagination. In a world that often feels fragmented, storytelling serves as a bridge, bringing us closer together as a community. So stories can break the dignity of a people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity. In short, I would like to say that storytelling is a transformative force, and we have been hearing stories since our childhood, and it really contributes to our development both as an individual and for the society development. Now, let us now delve into the enchanting world of stories. As we proceed with our festival, I encourage each of you to listen with open heart and minds and let the power of storytelling transform your understanding of ourselves and the world around. Great stories happen to those who can tell them. So, now, without further ado, let's begin with our first esteemed chief guest and the first speaker who will captivate us with his story. I welcome our chief guest, David Hetwell-Feed from UK. To brief about him, he is a storyteller and a workshop leader from Exeter, UK. He is the author of the teacher development book Storytelling with Our Student, Techniques for Telling Tales from Around the World, which has been published from the Delta Publication House. He is a spontaneous speaker and he has hosted a number of storytelling fest. He loves celebrating cultural diversity. But because of certain unavoidable circumstances, he's not able to join us. But I would like to thank you that he had shared the video. So I will be playing his video on this occasion. Is it audible?
No, we are not able to see or hear anything.
Just a minute. Rachna ma'am, can you share because I think some technical glitches there.
Okay, just a minute. I'm doing.
Yeah. Sorry for this technical error.
I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing a project. I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing a project called Tell a Child
Sound is there?
Yeah, Darshita.
Okay.
in Gaza's Tale. And over the last few years at the World Storytelling Cafe, John Rowe, the curator, and I have been welcoming young people from all over the world to tell stories. This got started during the pandemic. And what happened between 2020, 2022 is many people came from around the world. Many young storytellers from India joined us. But the biggest number of young people aged 18 or less who joined us were from Gaza in Palestine. I knew some teachers in Gaza, and their students came along and shared beautiful stories. Here's a composite photo of freeze images of some of the children that told stories. This is some of the many. More than 100 stories were told by children in Gaza. So when this onslaught on Gaza began in October last year, I started resharing from the archive videos of children telling stories. And then on the 1st of January, my dear friend Haneen Khaled Jadala and I launched Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale. Haneen herself is from Gaza and is studying her PhD now in the UK. And we started sharing the stories and inviting people like you, storytellers, many teachers as well, to choose one of those. At the time, there were about 65 stories. Now there's more like 80 stories because stories have continued to arrive from war-torn Gaza. Beautiful stories. Sharing the story, and people are retelling those stories, videoing themselves telling them, sharing them around the world, sometimes videoing students in schools telling them. The stories are being told in educational settings all around the world to remind people that the young people of Gaza are human, they're life-loving, the stories are about peace and justice, and just to celebrate the hospitality they showed us from their homes in Gaza, giving their stories freely to reciprocate and show them. Because the teachers I know in Gaza and some of the young people I'm still in contact with are so appreciative. Yesterday I had a Zoom call with a teacher trainer called Omar. And when I told him that his students' videos were being retold and shared, he was so moved because he's in the most dire and dangerous circumstances with his own young family. One of the stories that I learned was from Malak. Malak told several stories. This is Malak, and you can find her telling the same story I'm going to tell you on the YouTube playlist. If you go to my name, David Heathfield, and then look at the playlist, Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale, you can find all of these stories. You can find me telling it, you can find other people telling her story, and you can find Malak herself, the original. And this is my retelling of the story that Malak shared. So this is for all of the children of Gaza, all of the children facing danger and persecution around the world. My work is all about celebrating diversity. In many parts of the world, there's discrimination against people of certain ethnic or faith heritages. We know about discrimination and Islamophobia, for example, don't we? And how important it is, because as storytellers, we can do something about it by sharing those stories and honouring those who shared their stories with us. So here is Malak's story. I say story, story, and although I can't hear you, you can reply, tell us a story. Story, story? Yes. Kanya Makan Fikadim as a man, there was a child, and the child went with their father to a village, a poor village where the people had so little, and they stayed with a family all day long. The child's father wanted to show his child just how rich they were in comparison to these poor family. At the end of the day, as they were walking home, the father said, "What did you think, my child?" And the child said, "Wow, Dad, it was great." "What did you learn?" "Oh, I learned so much. We have one dog. They have 4 dogs. We have a swimming pool. They have a river. We have electric light. They have the stars. We have walls surrounding us to protect us. They share everything in their community. We have television and they talk to each other. We have everything that we can take from the world. And they have so much more. Thanks, Dad, for showing me just how poor we are. So much wisdom from young hearts like Malak. I don't know Malak's circumstances. I don't know the circumstances of most of the children from Gaza who have shared their stories with me and with you all over the world so generously. But by sharing their stories, and all our Palestinian friends are encouraging us to do this, we are making the world a better place, a safer place, a more open-hearted place. Some storytellers in India have generously retold stories. Some of you have told a few stories, for example, Shilpa Story Rack and Veena Hassan. So please do find out more, get in touch with me, look at Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale, choose one of those stories that appeals to you and retell it. You can make a video recording like this and send it as an MP4 to me, or you don't have to make a recording, just tell the stories in festivals, in classrooms, in your families. I'm honoured to be part of the festival. I wish you all a very beautiful Mumbai Storytelling Festival.
Thank you so much, David sir, for sharing your journey of a storyteller and writing story about young children of Gaza. I think you are doing a noble work, and this talks about your commitment and dedication. Because from the story, because we are living in a very diverse world, and when the students are sharing their story with you, and you are being a mediator of telling the story to the world, is really wonderful. And thank you for taking out your time for sharing your video with us. Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead with our second speaker, I would like to call Dr. Abdul Sir Rashid from Maldives. To brief about him, he is a distinguished educationist with over 30 years of experience. Currently, he serves as an advisor to Zikora International College in Maldives and has held prominent positions including Minister of State for Education and the first Vice Rector of Avid College. He teaches part-time at the Maldives National University and the Maldives Islamic University and supervises PhD candidates at the Binary Universities in Malaysia. Dr. Rashid holds a diploma in school management, a Bachelor of Commerce, a Master's in Education Leadership, and a PhD in Instructional Leadership. He has received multiple accolades, including the Academic Excellence Award from Binary University and the Principal of the Year Award from the Ministry of Education, Maldives. Recognized for his storytelling and the public speaking skills, he has participated as a speaker and a panelist at the numerous national and international conferences. I welcome you, sir, on this wonderful International Storyteller Fest.
Okay, thank you, madam. The founder of CWMA Institute of Skills Development, Professor Rachna, and other distinguished speakers and participants of the Storytelling Fest. It gives me a great pleasure and privilege to participate in this wonderful event. The previous speaker also mentioned about the importance of storytelling. Now, I just want to highlight the importance of storytelling. There are many reasons why storytelling is so important for young children, even adults. For the students, storytelling will enrich definitely their vocabulary. If they read more stories, their vocabulary will enrich, and also that will improve reading. And the good thing will be that will inculcate habit of reading. If anybody has the habit of reading, the person will be up to date and enrich the knowledge, and it will be very informative person. And also storytelling facilitates to develop the self-confidence of the storyteller. Just now we have seen a very wonderful storyteller. We have seen the confidence, even for students and the participants. If they can do the storytelling well, we can see how confident they are. That also develops their self-confidence. And another important thing of storytelling is the story, making a story, writing a story, telling a story needs a lot of creativity and innovation. We know the story writers, they have strong imagination and creativity. And if you read story, if you tell the story, you also can develop the habit of being creative and innovative. As we all know, creativity and innovation are most important 21st century skill. Therefore, I can say that Professor Rachna is providing a great opportunity for international participants by participating in this important storytelling fest. When I talk about the storytelling, I'm really happy to tell you in the first film festival held in the Maldives, I was honored to get the best story writer of the first film festival. So that reminds me when I'm talking about importance of story writing. Thank you so much for inviting me to be this important storytelling fest. I wish all the best to all the storytellers. Try your best to show how competent you are, how confident you are. Tell the story in an interesting way by changing your voice and your body language. I'm sure that will impress the judges and viewers, everyone. Keep on reading the story, telling the story. Once again, I wish all the best to all the participants. And also I take this opportunity to thank the founder, Professor Ratnam and other organizers. I have a very close relationship with India, and I've visited many parts of the India, including Mumbai. I wish everyone a very good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for inspiring words. And I think rightly said that storytelling enhances vocabulary, it influences or it inculcate habit of reading. That is for the students is very, very important in today's social media world. So I think storytelling do increase the self-confidence and in 21st century, because when we talk about story, it is about writing, it is about creating, it is about imagination. So automatically it will enhance our innovative thinking, which is very, very important. And the last, which you told about that the storytellers can bring about a change in the society, which is very, very important. Thank you once again, sir. Moving ahead with the next speaker, I would like to invite Queen Nadia Hari from France. Rachnaman, can you tell me, is he in the meeting? Because I am not able to see her in the meeting.
No, she has not yet joined. So we'll go to the next speaker.
Okay. Moving ahead with our next speaker is Jenny Repton from US. To brief about her is a former adjunct lecturer at the Purdue University Northeast. Jenny Rapstead, MA, is an award-winning international speaker, writer, and entrepreneur. She is the president of Jenny Rapstead Enterprise. I loved her lovely smile, LC based in the Remont, Indian, USA. Jenny offered entertainment program for hire as well as a speaker and pitch coaching and humor workshop for business and a youthful speaker under a trademark Speech Jenny. Wow. Jenny is a former agent at the Conrad University Northwest. Again, I will repeat this and I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I am delighted to be here. Is my sound good for everybody? You can
Yes,
hear? Okay, good. This is my story. I grew up in Salinas, California. Salinas is the home of world famous author John Steinbeck and iceberg lettuce. The rich soil of the Salinas Valley produces 90% of the iceberg lettuce grown in the United States. In fact, Steinbeck wrote about the development of the lettuce industry in Salinas in his famous novel, East of Eden. When I lived there, 537 Crescent Way was a modest little house in a friendly neighborhood immediately adjacent to the lettuce fields of E.E. Hardin and Company. Naturally, my three brothers and I and all the kids in the neighborhood, we used to play in the lettuce fields. We would play cowboys and Indians, wagon train, or we just run up and down the rows. Of course, every now and then, we would encounter someone from Hardin Farms. Usually we'd see a pickup truck come barreling down the dirt service road, dust clouds flaring up behind his wheels, and he'd come to a screeching halt and the foreman would jump out and say, "You kids, clear on out of here. This is not a playground." And I would answer back, "I'm going to tell my mama on you." And then we'd run like the Dickens. Salinas was a good place to grow up. My little house offered safety, sanctuary, and a place to belong. Be they ever so humble, our childhood homes are very special. They're where we grow up and become who we are. They are full of memories, milestones, and rites of passage. When I was 5 years old, I learned about the power of electricity in that house. One day, it occurred to me that the distance between the tines of a tweezer and the holes in the wall outlet were exactly the same. I decided to test my theory. It went something like this. My mother was, "Why did you do that? What would possess you to do that?" I said, "I'm 5. What does possess mean?" Growing up, that was one of my mother's favorite questions. What would possess you to do that? And my favorite answer always was, "I don't know." When I was 10, I learned that I had a fear of heights because I climbed up on the roof of our little house and then I was too afraid to come down. I started yelling, "Help, help." My mother came running outside. She saw me and she said, "You come down from there this instant." I said, I can't come down. I'm too scared. She said, "If I have to go up there after you, you are going to get a spanking." I said, "Well, if I'm going to get a spanking, I might as well stay up here my whole life." Well, a neighbor heard the commotion, brought a ladder, and came and rescued me. My mother was vexed. She said, "What were you doing up there in the first place?" And I was crying. I said, "I don't know. I guess I was possessed." I learned how to cook in that house. My mother was a nurse and she worked at 3 to 11 shift at Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital. I often cooked supper for my 3 brothers. I called my culinary creations casseroles. My brothers called them UFOs, unidentified food objects. I remember one night I woke up my brother and I said, Monty, I think there are burglars in the kitchen. I think they're eating that stew I made tonight." My brother said, "So what? As long as they don't die in the house." I learned to love to read in that house. I'd find a quiet corner and read stories about all the exciting places in the world I wanted to visit. I found myself comparing Salinas to other cities in the US and Europe. About the age of 12, I had concluded that Salinas was a burg. I told myself, when I'm old enough, I am out of here. As it happened, 3 days after I graduated from high school, my mother moved our family to New Orleans. It was ironic. After all those years of telling myself how much I wanted to leave Salinas, when the time came to go, I didn't want to. Since leaving Salinas, I've lived in 5 cities in 5 different states and 4 cities in 3 foreign countries. But whenever I think of home, I always think of my brothers and I growing up at 537 Crescent Way. Novelist Thomas Wolfe once wrote, "You can't go back home again, back home to your childhood, back home to those places in the country." Well, I say, you can go back. It's just that someone else is living there now. Another generation of children are creating their own memories at 537 Crescent Way in those old lettuce fields back home. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. And Jenny ma'am, you have created a magic, I think we all have gone back to our childhood, and I loved your energy, your fun-loving introduction of everyone's childhood, fighting with the mom, having an argument with the brother, and a beautiful way of transferring down our memory lane. Thank you so much. I think this talks about that in every minute there's a story behind. In every action of yours, there's something hidden which talks about ourselves. And being so communicative, this talk that how social you are, that you love interacting with people. Thank you so much, Jenny ma'am. Thank you so much. Loved your energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Would like to hear once again for sure. Yeah, moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to welcome Rania ma'am, and many, many happy returns of the day, Rania ma'am, always with a smiling face. She is a multi-awarded global educator, STEM instructor, ICT teacher trainer, researcher, international speaker, author, and she is always like very much dedicated towards whatever initiative she takes. I loved her determination. She is working as a minister in the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate Educational Technology and Innovation, where she writes STEM projects for Greek schools. She has been awarded many national and international, over 200, and she's a Global Teacher Award winner of 2019, 2021, and a Global Teacher Prize finalist 2020-2019. She promotes STEM vision by introducing STEM in astronomy and physics projects and combines STEM with the language teaching. That is very wonderful. She's the founder and international coordinator of many innovative international projects that focuses on the UN SDGs. She is an editorial board for many journals. She has presented her research in a numerous international conferences. She has published works in various journals. And today, again, this talks about her determination. Being her birthday, she is able to give the time. Thank you so much, Rania ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja, Dr. Rachana, and all the amazing friends here and colleagues for your awesome birthday wishes. And each wish for me are very meaningful and very overwhelmed. And each message brings a smile to my face. I'm very honored and very excited and happy to be part of this amazing, the National Storytellers Festival. I love to hear the personal narratives from friends from across the world. And in a world that is becoming increasingly interconnected, storytelling stands, of course, as one of the most powerful ways to bridge cultures, to foster understanding, to celebrate diversity. And the stories we tell shape our identities, our values, our beliefs, serving as a mirror, we could say, that reflects the essence of who we are and where we come from. So today I would call this gathering as Voices of the World, how to celebrate diversity through storytelling. So my personal narrative today, it's about how I got involved in this fascinating world of science and astronomy, since my first degree was in French language teaching. Actually, I grew up in a very strict environment where my parents focused a lot on educational foundations. So my parents and my love for children inspired me to become a teacher. My first degree was on French language teacher, and my master was on language teaching based on cognitive neuroscience, neuroscientific approach. So it was always about words for me. I loved the way words danced on the page, how the words could be stitched together to paint pictures, to spark revolutions, to all whisper truths only the heart understood. My classroom at the end of the corridor was actually a heaven of languages. French, English, Spanish, Greek, each one like a new doorway for my students to step through into a world far beyond their town. So for a few years, the first years of my career, I have taught my students to read between the lines, to hear the music in the syllables, to savor the poetry of the world's languages. I loved what I did, and suddenly something had begun to stir within me, something which started as a whisper, a quiet longing I couldn't quite name. When I looked out of the window during my lessons, I found myself gazing at the wide open sky, my eyes lingering on the stars as if searching for something beyond the worlds I had always known. So one evening, as I prepared lesson plans in my apartment, I noticed a flyer which was saying Star Party Astronomy Night at the local observatory. This whisper inside me grew louder, so I think that I thought that this was a time to step outside my comfort zone. So this evening, I found myself at the observatory, standing among families and enthusiasts of astronomy. Here in Greece, we have over 38 astronomy associations. Children and adults are thrilled with astronomical nights. So I felt out of place, surrounded by people who spoke in language, another language, a language of galaxies, of exoplanets and nebula. Astronomers, they invited me to peer through one of the telescopes. I remember they asked me to look at the Saturn. This is where I connected with the chairman of the Greek Astronomy Space Company, and still we're collaborating. So I leaned forward, I remember, through this telescope, and the world vanished into a dark circle. I saw Saturn, rings, luminous and perfect, floating in the sea of darkness. And in that moment, something shifted within me. The planet seemed to pulse within with a silent poetry of its own. And for the first time, I felt that science and language were not so different. Both tried to capture the wonder of the universe in its own way. So from that night on, I was a changed woman. I visited the observatory often, my curiosity burning brighter with every trip. I learned about the constellations, how they carried ancient stories within the patterns, about the composition of stars, how they were born and died. I began to share this. I began second studies on astronomy and astrophysics. So I suggested, why not bring astronomy to the classroom? Language is not only about books and grammar, it's about discovery, it's about expression, it's about wonder. The stars have inspired poets, writers, explorers for centuries. So we could teach our students to see the sky, not just as astronomers, but also as storytellers. So it was as if this was a key I hadn't known I was searching for. This night I went home, I remember, with full of ideas. I stayed up until dawn, sketching lesson plans that were intertwined languages and the cosmos. I planned a series of units, one of constellations, one about blending actually discoveries with language, the languages that they spoke. Teaching our students not about the contributions, but about the words that they used to communicate their findings. And since then, I am collaborating with the Greek Astronomy Space Company. We're organizing, many astronomical nights, many STEM lectures and workshops. And I guess my story afterwards, how I was involved in a scientific innovative program of CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, was about teaching particle physics to primary school students. Actually, I was appointed in the public school in the secondary education. Then I moved to primary education. And then it was a huge revelation for me because you can do miracles with young children who are very creative and have more innovative mindset. So the first awards came with CERN, a very a humorous, a funny video. It was called The Quark Show. It was created by students. It was about a dialogue between particles, a humoristic dialogue, which was awarded among 17 countries by CERN. And then after began all my vision and mission actually to promote STEM worldwide. I was from 2017, I'm a detached teacher in the Greek Ministry of Education when I designed STEM projects, and also I launched for the first time STEM workshop for primary and secondary students who are coming to the ministry installation and dedicated experiment with this STEM methodology. I have designed and the national STEM projects which were implemented for students in the privileged groups for poor children in Africa, in Asia, like Malawi and Kenya. Project which were very impactful because one was about water and help children to obtain sanitation filtering equipment. Another one was about how to teach food healthy combinations in case of food shortage. Another one was about, it was in Nigeria, about gender-based violence and peace. So I continue my journey now, bridging the gap between the worlds of language and science. And I want to say that there are no barriers between cognitive subjects. I mean, I could never imagine that my life could bring me to the world of science, because before my first degree was in language teaching. So in my classroom now, the stars and worlds intertwined, and the universe is like a story, not just to read a story, but to live a story and invite also others to live too. Thank you very much for your
Thank
attention.
you so much, Rania ma'am, for sharing your creativity through your classroom and celebrating, I think, diversity. And as you shared your story and of your classroom, that you strive to create a space filled with love for language. It feels like a little piece of heaven, which you mentioned, where every student has a voice that matters. And in giving them a scientific outlook, as you rightly said, language is about discovery. Language is about word that we use to communicate, and storytelling is an engagement. Storytelling is a curiosity, or we can say inspire curiosity, provide scientific reason behind what we learn. Thank you so much. And I think that is the best way, and we will all like to inculcate such tips in our classroom teaching also. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Moving
thank you.
ahead with our next speaker, I would like to call Ramin, and I'm privileged to welcome Sir Ramin Kumar from India, who is an award-winning writer, a storyteller, inspirational speaker, and a cancer warrior. And before we were just, I know because I have been a privilege of hosting him on one of the show with Rachna ma'am has curated. So I welcome you, sir. Ma'am, sir, you are not audible, sir.
No, I'm not on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're audible, sir.
Should I start?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So at the very outset, thanks a zillion, Dr. Rachna and Dr. Pooja, for inviting me to this amazing platform where I'm sharing space with such incredible storytellers from across countries, across continents. Let me jump right into my personal story. On November 29th, 2021, I was sitting with my family in front of the gastroenterologist who declared absolutely poker-faced, Mr. Ramendra Kumar, you have got colon cancer, stage 2B. As I stumbled out of his chamber and went to the canteen, I simply cut loose. I raved and ranted. How come me, poor me, why me? I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm slim and trim. I exercise regularly. Then how come this deadly scourge of called cancer has slammed into me? Just then I saw the faces of the three people I love the most, my beautiful wife Madhavi and my children Ankita and Aniket. Their faces had simply crumpled. It was as if they were seeing my death in my own eyes. At that moment, I decided to shift the narrative. As a storyteller, as a writer, and as an inspirational speaker, I had to script my own story, live it, and love it. Let me share with you that I've had quite a terrible roller coaster of a life. I'm a suicide survivor at 14. My parents divorced when I was 15. I suffer from a clutch of quite serious ailments like brittle diabetes, where the sugar levels move from one extreme to the other, silent thyroiditis, where thyroid levels also operate on the extreme, a condition called hemangioma, plus stress with COVID and tuberculosis. Through all this crisis, I battled each and every chaotic situation with my mantra of managing every tumor with humor. And now when I was facing the toughest challenge of my life, I decided to go back to my mantra. For 1 year, I endured 3 septic shocks. The probability of surviving one septic shock is only 30%. 3 times I knocked on the door of death and walked back to the kingdom of the living. I endured 4 major surgeries, 10 rounds of chemo, 5 cycles of radiation, and I was in the ICU for 40 days. Through the entire treatment and my recovery over a period of 2 years, I filled social media with crazy, quirky, wacky messages. I participated in panel discussions. I did dance videos with my daughter. And my greatest support system during this ordeal was my incredible family. They never, ever pressed the panic button. They never, ever made me realize the kind of chaos I was going through on a day-to-day basis. And my online and offline friends, my foul weather friends, some of who are here, like Dr. Santosh, Veena, Rachana, and a few others, they came on board with their humongous support. Prayers in temples, in gurudwaras, in churches, duas in masjid, incantations, posts on social media, telephone calls. It was such a, what should I say? I was filled with optimism, which made me resilient. But there was also a flip side to it. A doctor friend of mine told me, you have gone completely external. You know, you filled social media with crazy, quirky messages and posts and all that. Now it's time for you to look internal, to internalize, to look inwards. So I told him, being a colon cancer warrior, I feel for the last 6 months or so, half of the city of Bangalore where I live has been peering into my rectum, and my backside has got more eyeballs than the Coldplay performance or any disco dance performance. And I can't get any more internal. I can't look any more inwards. But the cake, the bakery, the casserole, and the crumb was taken by an aged relative of mine who believes in gravity. He's such a serious person that I am confident that had he been alive at the time of Isaac Newton, he would have discovered gravity without the help of the apple. He laughs once a month when he gets his salary. So he rang up my beautiful, gorgeous wife and told her, what is Ramin doing? He's making a mockery of a deadly scourge like cancer. He's flirting with death. If he continues like this, he's going to die in bits and pieces. I told Madhvi, please tell him, Ramin will not allow any colon cancer to put a full stop, a comma, or even a semicolon to his creativity and humor. Also tell him that this is the age of the comedian. In Ukraine, we have Zelensky. In Punjab, one of the states of India, we have Bhagwan Maan, a famous comedian. And in Bangalore, hopefully, Ramendra Kumar. And let me finally tell you that My takeaway from my journey has been the importance of cultivating relationships, of investing in relationships, because everything will fade away. Wealth is not important. Fame is not important. What is important are the relationships you invest in. They are your greatest wealth. And finally, I believe that this journey has taught me one takeaway, one lesson, that the worst of times often bring out the best in us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And it was really inspiring. And I think the way you have interpreted your journey, you have written so many things, and I can easily feel that pain. And coming out from the worst and being the coming out from the worst and showing the best is really tough. So, as you have mentioned, I would like to say that from victim to a warrior, your journey is full of resilience and hope, sir. And you have made a conscious choice to shift your narrative, which is very, very important. I am really inspired. And rightly said, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. From bit to pieces, I just penned down, from bit to pieces, you have turned into a strong and a bold writer, sir. And this talks about your credibility. It talks about that how accountable you were, that you have been very near to death and you changed the destiny. So life may knock us down, but it teaches us to rise again and again stronger than before. Thank you so much, sir. It was
Thank you.
wonderful listening to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to call Dr. Sameer Mukherjee from India. To brief about him, Professor Mukherjee is a renowned expert in education technology, metaverse storytelling, art and culture integration, entrepreneurship, and a future tech innovation. He captivates global audience with his signature topic, storytelling in the metaverse way, which delves into the intersection of immersive technologies, art, and narrative. His work aims to inspire new generations to explore the potential of emerging technologies and foster creative innovation. Here, I would like to talk about the initiative which has been started by Times, the Bree Books, which is in India, is a wonderful, wonderful initiative which has been taken for the students to come up with their creativity. Professor Mukherjee empowers students, entrepreneurs, and industrialists to embrace the transformative power of technology, bridging cultural dividends and unlocking the limitless possibility of art and technology fusion. On this note, I would like to welcome Dr. Sameer sir from India.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm not habituated. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a storyteller. I'm a technologist. Okay. So I do not know who is under good afternoon or who is under good morning and all this. So in my country, it is good afternoon. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. When I'm discussing this with Rachna ma'am, I ask her that I will tell that what is the future of storytelling? She said, what? Storytelling and the future. I said, yes, future of storytelling. So, by the way, I need these things, admin right, to show us some slides.
This time, kindly make sir the co-host.
Not yet.
Yes, done.
Thank you. Can you see that?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm from IVRFF. IVRFF is an International VR Film Federation. Basically, we are nurturing this emerging tech world. Now, emerging tech, that VR, AR, MR, XR, and all these things definitely will come within a couple of years to everyone. We are buying costly mobile, and we will buy within a couple of years a headset, good headset, and the entire globe will be onto you. So that is the most interesting part of the entire thing, that it is a different phenomena, and you have to understand certain things, certain new ideas, that how to go about it. It is not a general storytelling. So after a long, maybe 200, 300, or from Bible years, all of a sudden I'm here and I'm asking you to change your storytelling style. Don't you think it's funny? It's not funny, ladies and gentlemen. Please bear with me for another couple of minutes. You will understand exactly how to go about it, and you will love it. And probably we need many emerging storyteller. It is my word that everything has a story. Everything is story. Whatever you think, it's a story. So, these gentlemen started first how to make a 3D story in 1962, probably. Yes, 1962. Did you ever check that thing? Now, whatever story you people are telling, all are 2D story. In the film theater, whatever we are checking, it is a 2D story. 2D story, 2D picture. Now, these gentlemen, long back, started this 3D story, how to tell a 3D story. If it is not a 3D story, it is not a 3D movie. Simple. This gentleman started a VR headset. How to tell a VR headset story. What is the difference between a story and a 2D story and a VR headset story? VR headset, it is absolutely close. You can't see anything. It's absolutely pitch dark. Now what you have to do, you have to have your world inside that. So this gentleman, he's a Nobel laureate and started these things, how to tell a story in VR world. Now I have another very young gentleman. In 2011, he started that exactly how to tell an emerging story in Oculus Rift. So this was the emerging text storytellers concepts. Then what is the problem? So, okay, that's invented. People are very happy. Now we can start our 3D or emerging or AR story or VR story or whatever. Okay, but there is some problems, small problems, small hitches and all this. So the scientists are checking every day and change the concepts, that how to change it. We are assuming probably within a couple of years, the training, education, marketing, design, research work, video games, simulator, any kind of simulator or any kind of this type of program will be in VR, AR, XR, MR, or metaverse. we are believing that everybody will have a metaverse, like everybody nowadays have an internet. That's 25 years back. If we give this story that you will have a small device like this, and you can keep it in your pocket, and whatever you want with that device, you can do that. They will not believe it. Similarly, you people are not believing me today. So, however, my personal subject is VR in cinema. How to make a VR movie, okay? It's pretty difficult. Everything is ready in the world. Everything is available in the under the sky, except one thing, a small thing, storyteller. They can't understand what we want to tell them. I'm telling you a very simple concept that your story is going longitudinal. Our story is given in latitude. Now you understand the entire thing change. It is not a one directional. It is a multi-directional. However, I will come a little bit of all these kind of points. Now, one gentleman said these things that I think we are moving into a dangerous medium with VR. Can you guess? Can you ever heard of this word? I think no. Try. Don't do Google, but try think of it. Who can say these kind of things and we people are quoting his word? The most important part here in the VR or all this emerging tech or metaverse or all these things is the presence. Presence means live. Whatever you want to do, your story is always live. Now you have to make everything is present tense. Every day you will change your story. Every day the story will be, in different way. So, along with the audience, you have to change this, audience and the presence. That's the most important part of it, Basically, your role model can't change every day. But in this emerging world, you have to change your role model every day. I mean, your hero or the superhero, whatever you have, every day you have to, because of the aging. You can say my mother was, but you have to tell my mother is, kind of. Again, certain problem we solved. We means the globe solved. I am in this particular field for long. People knows me well. So that is the reason I'm using we. I'm not supposed to. There is so many people are working in it. Unfortunately, in our country, it's not much people. But this is one of the biggest problem. If I have to explain, I do not have that much of time. Set and setting, that's also a very interesting point. I will not discuss. That's also set and settings. Basically, how to make that story. I'm telling you very interesting things. Can you remember this word? I think we are moving into a dangerous medium with VR. And I ask, who uttered this? It is Steven Spielberg. At least now you can believe. Now he said, the only reason I say it's dangerous is because it gives the viewer a lot of latitude. It's not a linear movement. Your story started from page number 1 and page number 100 or page number 200. It's finished. But between page number 1 and page number 1, there is a huge latitude. We never thought of it, that so much of things was there. Now, if people want to explore that thing, they have to do this. Now, I am telling another very interesting type of storytelling. It's called transmedia storytelling. I am sure that many people already got this idea what is a transmedia storytelling, but let me tell you a little bit of it. It is a technique. It is a different kind of technique. Can you tell me one thing, a very simple thing, that why Harry Potter written? It's for movie, it's for book, it's for merchandise, it's for what? So it is in Rowling's mind, it is there that what this content will do in the future. You understand what I want to tell you? You can believe it. It can do a millions and millions and millions kind of process. Can you believe a story somebody is writing? He knows these things, that it will print and it will go to the bookshop and people will buy. It may not. It will go to the film people's hand and it will be one of the very popular movie. So it will be a kind of a digital recording. So are you thinking on that way to tell a story in different format, in different platform? No. Future way of storytelling. This gentleman started this transmedia storytelling, and I learned transmedia storytelling from London Film School, and we understand what is transmedia storytelling. You can ask me, hi, can you give me some example transmedia story? Yes, I can. All this is transmedia storytelling. All the mega book are transmedia storytelling. So there is more or less my discussion. This is Game of Thrones, got this much of opportunity. Can you believe a writing got this kind of opportunity? Can you believe these things? All of a sudden, Rowling or other people are not become a millionaire. There is something special. So my request to all storyteller, start something new. And I hope you will also believe within a couple of years, maybe. It's a very new kind of a concept. I understand. It's little difficult, but I'm telling you, inculcate today, and maybe tomorrow you can start this. Thank you so very much. And I think that I can put a little bit of concepts here, and it's difficult to give you the detailed idea in this short time. Rachana told me that 10 minutes, huh? Just remember, 10 minutes. And if you started and people asking questions and all these things, always your 10 minutes is 30 minutes. So I said, no, don't worry. This time it will be 10 minutes. So probably I am in 10 minutes. Yes, 11 now. Okay, so if you have any questions, ask Rachna to give you my email ID. I am surely will give the answer. Okay, thank you so very much. Have a very, very interesting good night. but unfortunately I have to leave. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mukherjee sir, for being there on the eve of Durga Puja. The celebration are going on, and you took out time. You made the PPT, and you make us aware about the metaverse, which we were not. We were just knowing the virtual reality. That you talk about the future of storytelling, which was really interesting. Rightly said that we run short of time. So, but you have tried to combine everything in that limited time. Thank you once again. And I think this the new concept which I came to know, that is transmedia storytelling, which is going to help telling the story multiple platforms and format, which creates a unified experience. And the example which Marvel you have given, really, because as the future goes, the technology will advance, and it will enhance education, entertainment, and also the social experience with a different narrative. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Moving ahead with our next speaker for today, I'll take a privilege of welcoming one of my inspiring mentor, Dr. Professor P.K. Rajput sir, who is a distinguished global speaker, international life coach, mentor, corporate trainer, educator, thought leader, author, and a change maker with over 42 years of experience in the pharmaceuticals and healthcare industry. He has demonstrated expertise in driving sales, marketing, and business growth across India and 25 countries, and has captured the heart of so many people he has been inspiring an epitome of inspiration to so many people. Dr. Rajput has been a significant contributor as a senior vice president, professor of practice, and a member of various advisory boards, bridging the gap between industry and academia. His accomplishments include 14 honorary doctorates and a lifetime achievement recognition from Chicago Open University, US. He's a life member of a Leadership Excellence Harvard and the Indian Society for Training and Development. He actively contributes to the advisory boards and the mentorship roles worldwide. As a prolific author, Dr. Rajput has co-authored best-selling books like The House of Wisdom and The Leaders with the Leaders, which we all have with us, available in across 15 countries. His latest book, The Ladders for the Transformational Leadership, launched in June, has also become a best-seller. Additionally, he serves as the Vice President of Healthcare and Education at MSME CII, providing his expertise in leadership, business development, and education across the globe. So I heartily welcome Rajput sir on this wonderful platform of International Storyteller Fest. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Very, very good evening. Namaste from Bharat. And we can see such a wonderful people across, though I was little late because finished the thing. Thank you, Professor Rachna ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Pooja ma'am, for such a gracious way of presenting me. My God, I don't require so much gracious way of presenting me. It is likely only a simple 4 words which is sufficient, because I always say I am a learner. I am a lifelong learner. Until the life is, the learning continues. I can also see Ramendra Kumarji, what a wonderful way, namaste, you have told about your entire journey, because these all are the journey of the inspiration. I can see Jenny ma'am here with the wonderful lemon color hat, because she always comes with that hat. So very, very good evening to you from Bharat ma'am, right? And Paula ma'am, and so many wonderful people. Today is the birthday of Dr. Rania Lampu. We just celebrated her birthday, right, in one of the platform. So many happy returns of the day once again to Dr. Rania. Keep smiling, keep spreading the smiles, keep motivating us, right? Because you are again omnipresent. Dr. Santosh madam, I can say Santosh magazine here, but your name is not here. So I can't take your name. Professor Samir was there in the one of the platform. So we are here. I can see Dr. Abdullah sir and Queen Nadia, which I always call her my sister. And so many wonderful people are there, which Dr. Rachna, it is like you have made an Andromeda, that the galaxy of the stars you have invited here on your wonderful platform. And thanks again. You have Dr. Pooja, one of the finest moderator, which I always admire her moderation spirit, and I keep on learning that if we have to moderate, let us learn from Dr. Pooja. So that is a great thing, which is, I can say, so happy to be a part of it. You always say a story can be a powerful force for change and a vehicle for understanding and a bridge between heart and minds, because we all are connected. We all are connected with each other from the heart and mind together. And our every person's life journey itself is a story, because whatever we have accomplished, right, there are a lot of the challenges were there which have been converted, right, toward the opportunity. Best example is Mr. Ravindra Kumar, right, because I heard him, so I can say that this is one of the finest challenges. Why to go somewhere else where we can ourselves give the example? I know about the Dr. Pooja challenges also very well, how she has converted, how she came out about the things. I know that how Dr. Professor Rachna is building the thing, and so many great personalities, including Dr. Rania also, because how she came out, because there is a lot of stories are there. It always says for story, which I wrote in my LinkedIn, I remember, tell me the facts and I will learn. Tell me the truth and I will believe. I repeat, tell me the facts and I will learn. Tell me the truth and I will believe. But tell me a story and it will live in my heart forever. So, and like the way Mr. Ramin Kumar has said about his entire journey, so it will be there till the lifetime. We cannot forget how beautifully he explained and how beautifully he came out for that. And being a part of the professional, corporate professional, anything and everything which he used to prepare, it was related to a story. Because with the story, you are able to imbibe the feelings, right, in each and every person. And that is the way. And it inculcated from our most younger days, during our grandmothers, right? They used to tell the stories. And with that stories, we all have been born and brought up, right? Because that story would have been told to them, to their grandparents, and that has been inculcated. And then we will able to resonate, because though the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, I'm talking about the Indian culture, right? Or related to the any of the culture, the serial would have come. But our ancestors, they've already told it in a beautiful way through the story. That is the power of the story. That is the power of building, connecting the heart with each other. And that's why we can resonate. And when we see it happening in front of us, we start resonating that at the age of 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, when we used to sleep along with our grandparents, they used to tell how beautifully. And that is the way of building the humility, humanity, and compassion. That is the way of building the empathy. That is the way of respecting the other person. And that is the right way of putting the thing, that yes, how the people, they have changed their entire life. The challenges they accepted it, they have never reacted it, they have responded it, and today how the way the things have been brought up and they have been built. I can also highlight some of the things, because empathy and understanding, basically storytelling, the main thing is empathy and understanding. Today, Professor Sameer sir has said, today we are in the technological world. Of course, we have to embrace the technology. We cannot hide ourselves from the technology, and that is a requirement. But there is also a story behind it, right? Either the AR, VR, whatever it is, everything is there is a story is there, and how we are able to inculcate. Today, now the new things are coming up. Today, the entire Ramayana will be converting toward the AR, VR. Today, our serials are getting converted. Today, even the Ram Mohan paintings have been converted through the AR, VR, and through the AI. So this is the way that things are getting changed. This is the one thing, empathy and understanding. Second thing is storytelling. It reinforces the social bond, because it reminds us that we are not alone in our experiences and the challenges. Sharing stories can create a sense of belonging and strengthen ourselves, the community, with that ties together. It also enhances the learning and the retention, because we learn with the beautiful story. Whenever in any of the leadership program, we start it, or when we talk about it, we always say about one of the beautiful story. Then the people sitting there, they start imagining themselves, oh my God, it would have happened. This thing is there. And then they come together. So this is the right way of enhancing the learning retention. The storytelling is also helping for the cultural transmission, right? We celebrated Durga Puja. We celebrated Dashara, right? Today, all my Bengalis brothers and sisters, they celebrated Sindur Khela, right? There's a story behind it, right? Sindur Khela, there's a story behind it, because why the Bengalis, they play with that Sindur, with the Vamisi, which is very important. How we talk about the death of the Ravan, how the effigy has been burned, when we say that the good things comes and the bad things can be over. So these things are there, which is telling about the culture requirement, which is very important. It also inspired the change, right? The story, the way Professor Sameer has presented, it is inspiring the change which is there. So it helps us to learn the change is important. It also facilitates the problem solving, that from Mr. Ramin Kumar's story, that the problem was there, but he took it. No, I am going to change it. I will be there. I'm very, very strong for making the thing. So that is the way of problem solving. Enhancing the creativity, which is there, which is the need of the hour. Bridging the generations together, and lot many benefits are there. So I can say that storytelling is essential in the various contexts. Any context we have spoke, empathy to enhancing learning, engaging audiences, inspiring change, whatever it is, whether it is related to my personal life, our personal life, community life, leadership life across the world, storytelling is very important. It really plays a very, very, very significant role in shaping our societies and enhancing our right communication, which is required at the right way and the proper way, which is the need of the hour. And with the right storytelling, we can build a bond of humanity, humility, and compassion. We can build a bond of respect. We can build a bond of regardness, which is very important. We can build a bond that no hurdles is a hurdle. All hurdles are an opportunity. Let us learn from the previous people, the stories of the people who have enhanced us. The story of APJ Abdul Kalam sir, the story of Mahatma Gandhi, the story of Martin Luther King, the story of Sundar Pichai sir. So you talk about such a great people who have Mother Teresa, who have come from the like a phoenix. And with that, we can resonate ourselves. If they can do, why not we can do? We have the capacity, capability. We have, God has given us strength. Let us be there and let us spread this thing which is really required. So thank you so much, Dr. Pooja ma'am. Thank you so much, Professor Rachna. Thank you so much, such a wonderful people who had come here to inspire with their wonderful stories, because every person's life is a story. And if you write a book for your story, I think millions of the people, they will be ignited. They will love to be like you. And that is the biggest achievement, that the people start imitating us, that yes, we started from zero. And today, whatever the position that God has given us, we are there and we keep on progressing till the time the last breath is there. Thank you once again. Gratitude.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. And rightly said, the heart of storytelling. I just could read I could make the caption for your takeaways. I think everyone's life is a story, and storytelling is more than just sharing a tale. It is the essence of our life experience, woven into a fabric of who we are. Every story carries its lesson, wisdom, and emotions that we resonate. As rightly said, Abdul Kalam Azad, Mother Teresa, and recently we have lost our hero Ratan Tata ji. So the stories that we learn from each other, the invaluable lessons that shaped our character, and it is a powerful tool. Rightly said, that for the connection, it reminds us to approach others with humility, as you always believe in that, compassion, recognizing the unique story that each person carries. Thank you so much, sir. And the last, I would like that the cultural transmission and bridging the generation gap, that is very much required. So we need to value the story. Story is more than a word. It is just not the summations of the words or the sentence. It is beyond that. It is something which cherished everyone's lives, and we resonate with. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
That's why I said, ma'am, that tell me a story and it will live in my heart till the time I am in this beautiful world.
Yes, rightly said, sir. Rightly said. Thank you so much, sir. So moving over with our next speaker today, I'm going to invite Paula Press ma'am, Bachelor Degree in Education Technology and a Professor of English Language and Culture and CEO of Yes English Institute. I welcome you, ma'am. Over to Paula, ma'am.
Hello, thank you very much for this invitation. I'm enjoying a lot every presentation, so thank you very much for asking me to be here. Thank you. From Argentina, it's a great pleasure to be with you so far away from the other part of the world, so it's very nice for me. Well, you know, when you told me that this was the storytelling festival, I started thinking of the best storyteller I've ever met, and that was my grandmother. My grandmother was the best storyteller ever. He created the most spectacular stories for me. And she kept on telling these stories. You know, they were never the same because she was just imagining the stories while she was telling me them. So it was like every time I listened to the story, it has some differences and some other things that were new that I love. So my grandmother was a very, very, very cultural woman, you know. She didn't have the opportunity to finish primary school. She could grade to 4th grade, but she loved reading, and she read everything that came to her hands. You see, were magazines, newspapers, books, novels, whatever. So she loved reading. And I saw her doing that and enjoying that a lot. So I admire her a lot because I knew that she would have loved to have the opportunity to study more, maybe to go to college, maybe to have a different life, but she didn't have the opportunity. But she took all the opportunities she could around her world. So the best things that she could do was telling stories, cooking delicious meals for the family, and loving everybody that was around. So she, as you can see, she was very important for me. My mother is a single mother, so my grandmother stayed with me most of the day, and we stayed together and we shared so many things because my mother was the breadwinner. So we share so many things together that you can't imagine. And when I finished college, we have a project with all my classmates. And the project was just writing a short story, and it was going to be published as a surprise for we finishing our career. So we have stories here in this book. I don't know if you can see. Can you see there? I don't know. No, I don't know. Okay. The book is here. So this book is Awakening of Emotions. So when we started this project, I thought of my grandmother. I thought that I would write a story. This time I would write a story for her. And I would tell her how important she was for me, for my life, and for everything she had done for me. So I started writing this story. You know that cooking for the family was something that she loved doing. And this is a true story. I could see that she was like immersed in a project herself. I couldn't see exactly what was she doing until I found out. She was like working a lot on a red cover book, but I didn't know what was it about. Because whenever I came into the room, she closed the book, kept everything, put everything away, and I didn't know what was going on there. I was so curious about her activity. So I decided to peep on her, you see, to take a look at, I don't know, come to the kitchen in a sudden to see if I could discover what was going on there, until I could finally get to the end production, to the production of this project. And you know what? My grandmother was making this red cover book that I have here with all her recipes, special recipes of food that we share with the family. So that was her present for me. And I decided to write a story about this, about her project and my experience. And when we published this book, I could read it. I could read the short story to her. And I could see how happy, how overwhelmed with happiness she was, even cried when I read my story, the story that I have written for her. So I think that this is so important, that we can motivate our students to use writing, to use words, to give meaning to their lives, to other people's lives and to make the people around us feel important, to tell them how we feel, how important they are for our lives, and how important is the heritage that we have received from them, no matter if they were university students or doctors or professors. They were knowledgeable people and they taught us a lot. So this is my sharing the story of my first short story published with you. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to remember this important event in my life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula ma'am. And it was really, I could say, a grandmother's legacy you have shared with us today, and the beautiful bond that you have created with your grandmother. And I can see how much emotional you are, because you know, as you mentioned, that she was not well educated, but her recipe book when came up, how overwhelmed she was. She must have not thought about it, and you have made that possible. You have made her dreams come true. That is what the storytelling is all about, bringing life to someone or bringing smile to someone. And I love the book that, as you mentioned, that Awakening Emotions, which is a collection of so many things. So I think that is the best way we can inculcate in our children that it is good to write. You know, in today's time, media, in the world of Insta, where everybody with just a click is just thrown away, the stories are going to remain forever, forever. And I think today I also got the inspiration. I've been writing a research article, but today from this eminent speakers and the poet and the authors, I also get inspired. Thank you so much, Professor Rachna ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again. Moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to invite Dr. Santosh Bakaya ma'am from India. She is the renowned academic, poet, columnist, essayist, editor, novelist, and a TEDx speaker, celebrated for her poetic biography of Mahatma Gandhi, Ballad of Bapu, with 28 well-received books across diverse genres. She has made significant impact in literature. Her TED talk on the topic, The Myth of Writer's Block, is a popular among creative writing enthusiasts. I welcome you, ma'am, on this wonderful platform of international storyteller. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay. Good evening, all of you. I'm so glad to be sharing the platform with some internationally acclaimed storytellers. Thanks, Dr. Rachna Chakravarti and CWMA and International Storytelling Fest 2024 Season 3 for this opportunity. I think it was Maya Angelou who said long time back, there is no greater agony than an untold story inside you. And Toni Morrison said, if there is a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written, then you must write it. So I do not want to die with the agony of a story lying untold inside me. So I'm always writing. I'm always relating stories. And I'm always imagining, creating, and recreating. There are stories in every nook and cranny. We need to grab them and make them our own. I don't know how many stories I have written. I don't know how many stories I've related. And because I see characters all around me, there are characters on the roadside, there are characters on the wayside barber, the tea vendor, the rat picker, the workers at the construction site. I have written stories on all of them. So there's a small story that I want to relate, and it inspired me a lot. It is about the single-minded concentration of a little boy I saw one morning. So, and this is from my book, Flights from My Terrace. He stoops to conquer. He stoops to conquer is the name of the story. The birds sitting on the trees are blanketed in an eerie silence, a silence that can only be explained by the intense cold. Not a chirp leaves their beaks, no fluttering sign of welcome. A couple of kids right in front of a house are fighting over a patch of sunlight, and their screams reach up to our terrace. Their screams reach up to our terrace, frightening away the silent birds. Strange but true, a group of 10-year-olds squeal delightedly while squishing water over each other with a long hosepipe, while the elders sitting on string cots and sipping their morning tea to the accompaniment of honking horns and raucous cries of Radiwalas, shouts reprimands in the direction. Itni sardi hai, kya kar rahe ho? Itni sardi hai, kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing in this severe cold? Their reprimands are drowned in the surrounding morning cacophony. A boy snoozing on a chair next to his tea-drinking parents suddenly leaps from his chair, rubs his eyes, and before the mother can put a restraining hand on his shoulder, races out of the massive iron gate. He stops outside the gate only for a few seconds and then sprints breathlessly towards the road, barely missing being crushed by a monster truck. Ignoring the hissed curses of the truck driver, he races after the truck. What demons, what monsters are chasing this 10-year-old? What nightmares are haunting him at the crack of a new morn? Or is the young boy himself chasing some demon? The truck trundles away out of sight, but I can still see the boy from the terrace. He races forth with a new vigor now that the road is clear. But alas, the slight boy collides. He collides with a heavily muffled and blanketed person who lets loose a barrage of expletives at this collision. He staggers and tumbles, and staggers on the road. I leave my chair and stand near the board of the terrace to get a better view of the scene unfolding before my eyes. The boy now races towards a deserted house, kicks open the rusted and broken iron gate, sprints up the terrace leading up to the terrace, and sprints up the staircase leading up to the terrace and crash lands on the terrace. But no, the boy has fallen only to rise again. He has fallen only to rise again. With a nimble, sure-footedness, he forges ahead. What is he up to? I lean forward to get a better view of his antics, neither looking to the right nor to the left. He looks merely in front, and then bends down. What is he down to? My curiosity has got the better of me. I stand on my toes now to get a hang of things on the terrace of the deserted house. Hang on. The boy has stooped to conquer. With a yell of triumph, he picks up a fallen angel. A kite. Then, with the colorful booty clutched tightly in his hand, the warrior heads back victorious. The blue sky has transformed into a collage of colorful kites merrily flying around like free and unencumbered thoughts. The morning silence has been shattered by raucous cries of Bokata, Bokata, Bokata. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Santosh ma'am. It was really mesmerizing the way you have interpreted the story of a 10-year boy from your terrace, and the title was Flight from My Terrace. Really very inspiring. And I think through storytelling, we share our experience, emotions, and dream. And you have created a scene of that when you were interpreting. I could really think, and my goosebumps I could feel that when the boy collides and the adventure was like high. And I think we really, in the end, the story which you have done, the little moments of life that resonates the most, and that's remind us of our shared humanity, the power of connection. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really inspiring listening to you, and I think I should have started writing story. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to invite Dr. Laura Sencher from Romania. Laura Sencher is the dedicated educator at the Economic College Nicolae Crătuță in Romania. She is an accomplished author of books and school textbooks and has played a significant role in coordinating and participating in various national and international projects and competitions. Her involvement extends to a E-Twin and Erasmus program, and she frequently serves as a speaker and a moderator at international conferences and events. As an SDG ambassador, Laura has been honored with awards such as Global Educationist Award, Global Changemaker Award, Global Edu Leader Award, and a Global SDG Warrior Excellence Award. Always on time and always dedicated with a lovely smile on her face. I welcome you, Laura ma'am. It's my pleasure to welcome you on this wonderful platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you so much for the lovely presentation, Dr. Pooja, and thank you for this wonderful invitation. I am truly honored and grateful to be part of this wonderful event, the International Storytellers Fest. Stories are like magical windows through which we can take a glimpse of magical worlds. Stories have been part of our lives since people first started speaking. With the ability to express the reality around us and to put it into words, came the need to share our words with other people, to pass them on, to make others understand what we had in our minds and in our hearts. And this is how stories appeared. Stories which carry in them adventure, wisdom, the wisdom of generations, and inspiration. And being a teacher, I had the amazing opportunity to introduce my students to the world of stories. And I believe that stories are something that we should really teach the young generations to embrace, because they have so many benefits for their young minds. They enhance the imagination and creativity. They boost cognitive development because they require critical thinking. And so many other things. They make us live other lives. They make us improve language skills, and they foster empathy and emotional intelligence as well. Essentially, stories make us better human beings. And I would really love to thank Mrs. Paula for sharing her stories, because I was also going to share a similar story. One of my most cherished memories of my childhood is my mother's voice while she was reading or telling me stories. Because I was a very fussy eater, I wouldn't eat anything when I was little. And my mother was always having a really difficult time. Feeding me was a daily struggle to convince me to take one more bite of that vegetable or to take one more spoonful of soup. And so she tried to think of different solutions. And one of them was telling me stories and introducing me into the wonderful world of imagination. And so all my days were filled with princesses, with castles, with magical adventures, with everything that stories had to offer. These stories have shaped the way I am right now. They have shaped my mind and my heart. And I believe they have made me a better person. And now that I'm a teacher, it is my turn to try to do the same for my students, to fill their young minds with love for stories and love for the imagination that they bring. And of course, in today's world that's full of technology, it is sometimes difficult to convince students to read, to pick up books, and to enter this world of magic, the world of words, because they have everything at a single touch. They don't consider stories like we did. We were more attracted to the adventure they offered. Now the students have this adventure through technology, but still stories are really important. So that is why I try to convince them to read and also to share their stories, to write. And one challenge is that some students are shy or they lack the confidence to let the words inside them take flight. And so I try to tell them, okay, don't write a story. It's difficult. Let someone else do the writing. Let the characters of your story do the writing. So imagine the characters. Who are they? What are they trying to say to you? What will their adventures be? Let them do the writing, not you. And this is how magic begins. This is how their characters, may they be a dinosaur, a cat, any characters, they build the child's confidence and they start writing, they start believing in themselves, and they start weaving words into stories. And like this, they develop their imagination and they become better speakers, better writers, and better human beings, because stories teach them a lot about empathy and about how they can make the world around them more magic each and every single day. Thank you so much for letting me share my story of writing stories.
Thank you, Laura Bam, for showing us the magic of magical window of stories, and rightly said that the glimpses of our childhood, were the stories, and you share your mother sharing the stories while you don't wanted to eat, and that is how you have inculcated, and you are trying to inculcate the same thing in your students. And you talk about that when we ignite the flames of imagination and creativity, that is it going to help make our students a better emotionally intelligent than other things. So I think it is very, very important that how we express, how we modify things, or our experience into narrative is the thing which the story is doing. So thank you so much that stories are a window into our soul, illuminating the path for everyone around us. Thank you so much, Laura. On this next speaker, I would like to invite, thank you so much, Laura ma'am. Moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to invite Noor Ahmed sir from Bangladesh, who is an international speaker, moderator, LDG ambassador, UAE, peace ambassador, Nigeria, educator, Lion Chartered member, event coordinator, Gaima, Australia, global general secretary of Yes You Can International from UK, youth activist, head of event management, public speaker, officials, Bangladesh. I welcome you, sir, on this wonderful platform of CWMA.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Please take my sincere apology for that. I'm not able to open my camera because I'm on the way to my destination, and I'm actually giving I already share my video to my sister. Anyway, this time to share my words to all of you. Hello, 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 my dear all the honorable speakers on the world and the storytellers. I am Lion Ambassador Noor Ahmed, and I'm really glad to be a part of here. And today, I would like to share a story of a boy. The story of a boy. The boy, the childhood of the boy is not that much good enough that everyone desires. All the things, all the opportunities seem to like very limited because of financial crisis. They are not even, that person even not dreamed of the good future, even the attractive future for his life. And that time, the number of things, number of obstacles, number of problems arises during the study time. And after the graduation, the boy thinking that what will be my destination and what will be my ultimate future. I think that time, the boy also think about that after my graduation, what I have learned from the last 16 years. That time, that he didn't even know a single thing that is required for that job. And that time also boy thinking about that, okay, so let's remember a story. Story is all about two people go in the jungle, and the one people are when the two people are running around the jungle, and that time suddenly a tiger came in front of them. One one of the two people actually tied the shoes, and then other people told that, why you tie the shoes? Do you really think that you can run faster than tiger? That time the person here, no, actually I tie the shoes because now I can run faster than you. So in that time, so from that beginning, that person think about it, how can I make different from others? How can I do and invest my time in some productive work? Otherwise, none of the person can give me the opportunity, none of the person can give me the ultimate, the fruitful life that everyone desires. And suddenly he's working on it and still working on that. And he found different kinds of platforms which is required for the personal development. He always ready to invest the time. He always ready to motivate by others. He always ready to open the mind to learn a lot of things from them. And that is actually drastically changed his life. He got a job. He got a international level job, international platform, also recognized for the international arena for some other great opportunity. Just the thinking is always going on his mind that if I stop learning from now, I can't go further. Even if I stop learning now, I can't make difference to the others. I don't want to live a life as like general people. I have to live a life with some as a creative people. And right now I'm sharing the stories is all about mine. I am that person, I'm that the boy who is struggling from the very beginning to till now, but not till now actually. Already I changed my world and I try to invest as much as I can. And I'm now working in international humanitarian crisis management project in Bangladesh. And the other things, voluntary affiliated, some other platform with some other degrees. The story is all about changing mindset, changing and developing personality development. Most of we are not recognized that what we are specialized of. We have to recognize our own creativity, but think about is learning, learning, and learning, and focus the 100% for your future. You will definitely get the ultimate desire. So thank you so much. This is all about my words. And I'm really, really honored to be a part of this because my dear sister, Professor Rachana Chakraborty, always inspired me and giving me the opportunity to share, to share, to share. So that's actually bring me more confidence. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, Noor sir, for taking out time even though you are traveling. Thank you so much for being there. And thank you for sharing that stories is changing the mindset. Story is recognizing your own creativity. And we all have to learn from our own experiences. And I think in last, I could say the story is intention and challenges, which everyone will agree because we have grown up into that particular personality because of our intention. If we wanted, like we have heard the story of Ramendra sir, because he has took the challenge, and that's why he is here with a smiling face, and he's a warrior. So it is up to us how we take the things in our life. Thank you. Moving ahead with our next speaker today, we have Sekanti Adastini from Uganda. He is an author of 10 literal books, which include poetry, drama, plays, inspirational and love books, bachelor degree in tourism and hotel management. More ambitious, only his writing career is comparable to Shakespeare. Wow. So today we have got the opportunity of listening to his story. Welcome, sir.
Well, I'm grateful to be part of this storytelling. First and foremost, Professor Russian, all invited guests or writers, I greet you all in respect. My name is Poet Sechanzi Andrew Destiny, and I'm a member of Creative Writing Modern Age, as well as the DEA in Creative Writing Modern Age. I'm privileged to always be part of the Creative Writing Modern Age activities. It's my pleasure. I hold a strongest ambition of being the first writer to challenge Shakespeare's legacy, and I pray that really one time I will. However, I'm glad to be part of you, and I respect all invited guests and our host. Long live Creative Writing Modern Age. I have a minute crucial point to talk about before I tell my story. We don't read and write poetry, no stories, voice out and recite just because they're cute or they're sweet and they're amazing. No, we read, recite, tell stories because we are members of human race, and this human race is filled with love and passion. So medicine, law, business, engineering, and so on, these are noble pursuits, are necessary to sustain life. But poetry, storytelling, voice outs, reciting beauty, romance, and love of literature, these are all what we say stay alive for. Yes, poetry and storytelling gives us a passionate life. However, allow me share my short story. Yeah, it is a tragic story. It is a tragic story, though short, but it's based on reality. Yeah, my character and trait in writing are is right basing on true story, true happenings, most especially that I experience, actually even other people do experience. I look at it and I write about it. However, this is my short story. It is tragic. Yeah, my tragic story when I was in the world. You know, I'm in the field of tourism. Yeah, my short story when I was in the world. In the camping tent, I rested, not knowing that it was coming dark. I thought it was still daytime. I only realized that it was already night when something hit on my tent. On peeping out the window tent, the sun had already fallen. Besides, there was a very huge, long, angry, and ugly warthog. Immediately, I closed back the camping tent zip. I lagged back inside. Out of the boom, it rained, and my tent was leaking. I had no option apart from finding an escape route because it was leaking and was raining in. So little did I know that warthogs are not hazardous. I was in temper, I was scared, and I thought that this warthog could climb over my tent and grabs me and eats me off. But little did I know that these warthogs are not such dangerous. I jumped out of the tent and found shelter in the bus that had brought us on the trip. Leaving everyone in laughters, my colleagues were busy laughing at me as I was jumping out of the tent. Little did I know my colleagues were awake. I thought that they were sleeping, and I thought that I'd just jumped out of the narrow without the notice of anyone. One had this to say, "He jumps greater than frogs." Then another said, "Had it been a green grasshopper, then could have made more of fun." It was only me that knew that I was really in danger, though my friends knew that warthogs are not such dangerous. I gathered my confidence. It dawned on me then when a big roar from a distance in the nearby world heard the sound of a lion was heard from the world, and everyone, whoever was laughing from their camping tents set aside of the bushes, they all ran out of their tents. I was already safe inside the bus, and for them, they were outside. Remember, I was running away from the warthog. Now it is a roar. I'm safe in the bus. For them, they are outside the tent. So I had two options: either to close up the bus and let them be eaten by the lion, or I had to open for them and they take refuge. But because of good heart, no revenge, I had to open for them and they entered the bus. Instead, I was the one laughing at them in return. That is the end of my story. We all took safety and no one was hurt nor injured. Though it was joy, fun, though in disguise of danger. Thank you very much. I remain poet such as Andrew Destiny.
Thank you so much, Destiny, for sharing your story. You talk about love and passionate, that the story can make your life passionate about something which you talks about. And I think a captivating story which you told to us has as an emotional journey of your life, which has effectively blend your creativity and has given a psychological insight. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful story with us. Moving ahead with our next speaker, and I think the last speaker for today's show, we have Veena Parveen Hassan ma'am. To talk about her, she began her journey in education in 1994 as a Montessori teacher at Maria's Public School, Guwahati, later progressing to roles in the primary wings as the middle school coordinator. She is known for inspiring a love for English through storytelling, dramatization, and a role play, which is very, very important in today's NEP, which talks about. So she has selected to guide students in an English skill program from Trinity School, London. Wow. A first class first in the Montessori diploma course from Sister Margaret Day, Kolkata. She participated in various national and international conferences. During the pandemic, she utilized technology to engage students innovatively. Presently, she is an educational consultant, passionate storyteller, and a storytelling mentor of creative writing modern age. We are privileged to have you, ma'am, as a mentor of CWMA, having curated numerous online programs and spoken at national and international webinar. She has been honored in 2022 as a Women Achiever by CWMA for her work as an educator and a storyteller. She also runs her YouTube channel called Storytelling with Veena, where she narrates stories of different genres, fables, fictions, moral-based, and an inspiration, including legends and folktales, which is very, very important, ma'am, and you are doing a wonderful work. So over to you, ma'am, Veena, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for your kind words. And thank you to the founder, Dr. Rachna Chakraborty, for organizing this wonderful event. I feel humbled and really honored to share space with such amazing personalities. Every time I listen to them, I look up to them and I learn from them. I'm inspired every time. Well, so today, as it is a Storytellers Fest, I believe after 30 years of experience with the children in the Montessori, in the primary and the middle school, I feel that the best thing for me, which I've learned, the takeaways I've taken over these years, is the emotional part, the bond which I create with my children. And storytelling, which has a lasting impact on the child. To begin my presentation today, I'd like to give an example. Just a few days ago, last month, I think on Teachers' Day, I received a message after 22 years from one of my students who had written, "Ma'am, I hope you remember me, but you used to tell us stories when I was in class 4. And the story of the 5 rupee note has created such an impact. It has inspired me today. And you'll be happy to know I'm pursuing my career in civil services and I'm trying my best to do. I need your blessings." Wow. What more can a teacher want? So storytelling is something, the bond that I have developed over the years with my students. When I narrate a story in the class, when the child comes and stands near you, holds you here, gives a smile, and the next day when I just cross, across the balcony, when I go to the other classroom, "Hello, ma'am." I think that bondness, because I tell them a story. I was an English teacher, and gradually my principal told me, "Why don't you also take up the storytelling classes? It seems the children enjoy, because you don't tell them, you read out from the text. You tell them like stories and they understand better. So why don't you take a storytelling class?" So that came from there. And since then, I'm very passionate about storytelling. And as I've heard about the excellent, the beautiful presentations from all of you here today, I do resonate with you. I feel my mother and my grandmother and my aunties were excellent storytellers, because I've learned, from them so much. I used to imagine the world they create in front of me, the way they tell me the stories. So gradually, maybe it must have been for them that I've developed the art of telling storytelling. I remember in school, my classmates used to tell me that when you read a book, you tell us. When you watch a movie, you come and tell us. We'll be waiting for you because you make us visualize, how it happens. So we'd really love to listen from you. I remember when I talk about my mother, I lost her at a very young age. She was only 42 years. My first schooling was in Seattle in the United States. And at the time when my mother, I couldn't see her. She had to have a heart operation. As a child, I was not allowed to see her for 1 month. So my neighbors, Paula auntie and uncle, had to look after me because my father was a doctor. He had to be near her, and we were not allowed. Children were not allowed. So I'm talking about a very, very long time ago. It'll be around 1964, 65, something like that. One was very small, okay? So I used to go to Paula auntie and uncle's house, and they used to tell us bedtime stories. So we used to enjoy so much listening to them, So after that also, I always wanted to have a bedtime story with me anytime. And today now, being a grandmother, I tell stories to my granddaughter as well as I used to tell my children. So storytelling for me is a bond which I developed over the years with my children and storytellers like Ramendra ji and Santosh Bagaya ma'am. The stories that I read about them, the stories they write, they really touch your heart because I'm telling you why I narrate these stories to children after I read the books. Because you can resonate with them. You feel you're really talking about a character with whom you can relate to. So that is also very important. When children can relate to the character. You have to see the smiles when you ask them to repeat some of the lines and make them the characters, dress them up. So I love listening to stories, whatever children say, and I love narrating. So today, I'd like to tell you a story which has touched my heart, and I hope it will touch yours as well. As David Heathfield had mentioned my name, I had loved that wonderful project of telling a child in Gaza's tale, when you have to retell a story which you heard from the child. So today I'll be retelling a story I heard from a child from Gaza, and I heard this story before, so it touched my heart. Well, it so happened, the name of the story is A Young Man and an Old Man. So once upon a time, it so happened, an old man and a boy around 25 years old were traveling in a train. And as they were traveling by the train, the boy had got the window seat. The boy was so excited and happy, and father was looking at his son, even if he was 25 years old, and so happy. He had that look of happiness and excitement, and there was some sort of contentment in the father's eyes. So it so happened when they were traveling, the boy said, "Father, Father, I can feel the fresh air." He tried to put his hands out of the window and he could feel the fresh air, in his hands. Then he said, "Father, Father, can you see the trees? The trees are walking along us as we're traveling." The father just looked at the son and felt so happy. Now in the same train, there was a couple who was sitting nearby and listening to the conversation of the father and son, and a bit embarrassed. How can a young man of around 25 years talk like a child? And the next moment, as the train is, on the tracks and moving ahead, this young man of 25 years old says, "Father, Father, look out. Can you see the pond? The animals in it look so beautiful. I wish I could go close and touch the animals and feel the water with my hands." A little further, again he goes, "Father, Father," he looks out of the window. "Father, look at the clouds. They seem to be following me. Oh, Father, they're so beautiful." This time the couple looks at each other and thinks, what is wrong? Why is this young man behaving in this manner? And they were feeling a bit embarrassed for the father. I think the father must be feeling ashamed as well. Later, after some time, this man again says, "Father, Father, it's raining. It's raining. I can feel the raindrops on my hand. It feels so good, Father. I love it. Oh, I'm going to take out my face. The raindrops, it makes me so happy and wet. And the father smiling and saying nothing. This time, the couple couldn't remain silent any longer. Sir, we'd like to tell you, have you consulted a doctor? Is your son okay? Is there something wrong with him? The father just looks at the couple, smiles, and says, thank you for your concern. But I'd just like to tell you, my son just had an eye operation, and this is the first time he can see the world in front of him. He was unable to see the world. It's the first time I brought him after his operation. He can see the whole world. The first time. So you see, my dear listeners, let us not judge people without knowing the actual facts and drawing conclusions from it. Let us not try to put people in their places, but try to put ourselves in their places. I think perhaps we can make this world a better place to live in. I will end my story with a beautiful quote from Mother Teresa. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Thank you very much.
Just yeah. Thank you so much, Veena ma'am. And it was so refreshing the way you have interpreted the story. And I would say that great stories happen to those who can tell them. And I think you are the one who has beautifully shared the story and have given a life lesson that we are so quick in judging others, we interpreted the scene in our own way, whatever we like. And the story that you narrated, the conversation between an old and a new and a young person and a young individual talks about that a story, a small words of your can make other feel better. And so it's upon you how you narrate the thing. Narration of your feeling is very, very important. Sometimes the reality is so complex, but I think the story gave it some form. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. And we all will remember that don't ever judge people, because if you keep judging, you won't be anywhere. You will be just in that case only. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now we have come to the end of the session, and I take this opportunity that it was my pleasure of hosting this wonderful session, hearing to all the eminent poets and the authors, their stories, their lessons, their experience, and so much to learn. And on this note, I would like to invite Professor Rachna Chakravarti ma'am to give a vote of thanks to all the speakers for today International Storyteller Fest. Over to Rachna ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am. It was wonderful listening. Really a nice weekend, I can say Sunday, to be spent in a good way with all the storytellers. And certain stories were really wonderful, and some were a lot of learning. And it's just for the youth to understand the importance of storytelling and what storytelling can take us to that level, which Veena ma'am said in the final one as an end note also. So I would request everyone, those who couldn't join in, please do listen to all these amazing storytellers. It's a request because the stories which they shared today was really touching, really motivating, really interesting. So they had all the capsules which are needed for energizing life and living life to the fullest. Their stories have inspired us that what is the best way to live life? What is the best way where we can enjoy the life? Excuse me. Thanks to all the eminent scholars and personalities from different areas of the world who have taken out their time. And we know your dedication and your hard work is always captivating us. And we are honored with your presence. And we really love to have you again and again in our platform, because we have many young hearts who keep on, asking us questions. And even now, after this session, we have another session coming up with the kids, with all the teenagers and the kids who has today listened to all of you all how to narrate a story, and then they will be coming up with their stories in the next week. So the first week was just we couldn't keep it together because it will be time consuming and very boring also. So as a result, we had segregated and we told the young storytellers to come up with their stories after listening to their guest storytellers today worldwide. So we will have an international storytellers fest for the youth too in the next Sunday, upcoming Sunday, wherein storytellers will join from India as well as across the globe. So it's a request to all the teachers who have joined in to share it with their children and reach out to CWMA so that they too can share their story, an amazing story which David Hethwell sir had started off, that what did we learn from the story? What did we learn from Ramendra sir's story? What did we learn from Santosh ma'am's story? What did we learn from Rania ma'am's story? So it is just that we have lot of learning everywhere. Jenny ma'am's story, the way she narrated it with power-packed emotion, the actions are very much important. When we narrate a story, we go deep inside. That is very important. We feel the story, we understand the story, and then narrate it. Jenny ma'am had given us a very good example with her actions and emotion. Rajput sir had combined everything and he told the brisk importance of storytelling. So thanks to all the eminent scholars for joining us and giving us your precious Sunday and inspiring and motivating us with all your knowledge. So today we have the Dasera, which I would love to end today's session with the story of Sindur Khela, which we all call it in Bengali. There is a story behind it too. Why do we move around? I think Rania ma'am, Jenny ma'am is not aware much. But in India, we have, in Bengal especially, we have this called the vermilion, which we are applying. We apply it to our goddess Durga. We call the incarnation of Shakti. So with that, we apply the vermilion on her head, and with that, we believe that it elongates the life of your better half, the second half. So the amount of sindoor is there in your face, your forehead, the life years, it keeps on extending. So that's the story behind. So every lady keeps on standing that somebody should come and apply vermilion on her forehead and even on the face, mouth, everywhere, wherever possible, because we all love our husbands and are better up. So we all say the number of vermilion is more on our cheeks and head and forehead means our husband's life has been elongated to way long. So that's the small story behind it. Nothing else. We can have Sindur Khela in any occasion, Pooja ji, not only in Durga Puja. We can have in Kali Puja, we can have in Lakshmi Puja. So only the main this thing is that we need to add more sindoor. The number of suhagans, the number of married ladies comes and touches your suhag, and we are just extending the life cycle of our better half. So that's a belief, but we all believe.
It's a symbolic way of expressing our emotions.
Yes, so that's the final story which I would tell. And happy birthday once again, Rania ma'am. Ramendra shared
We all
a
say
lot of
happy
emojis.
birthday again.
Images of cakes. I think Ramendra sir had shared it. I was seeing a lot of cakes floating in there. And we had cakes floating in the chat box. It was all
Yeah,
because
virtual cakes we can see, ma'am.
virtual cakes. Yeah, Ramendra sir's message had a lot of virtual cakes. So I am trying if I can bring it here. Some more virtual cakes. I don't know now, Ramendra sir, how did you do it? Now again, bring it here directly for Rania ma'am, and we'll all sing the song. Happy birthday to Rania ma'am. Yes, let me see. Am I getting it? Cake. These are not cake. Yeah, I got one. Yeah, there. My cake.
Wow, wow. Amazing.
Ma'am, happy birthday.
Thank you, happy birthday of the day.
Thank you
Happy
very much.
Thank you so much, all of you, once again. And last but not the least, to our dearest Pooja ma'am, because I know you are the best moderator who.
Excellent
Yes.
moderation, Dr. Pooja.
Thank
Loved
you,
it.
Ravindra. Thank
She
you
does
so much.
it.
Thank you.
She
You
too
made
is
my
very
day.
busy with her papers and paper checking, but still she agreed because I know beyond her, there's no other moderator. The way she summarizes the stories and everything, and it's like way beyond. Thanks to you, Pooja ma'am, for giving us your
And I've learned
time.
so much from each one of you. It's really privilege. And I think you made me inspire with, I think, Beena ma'am, Ramin sir, Rani, everybody inspired me. And I'm going to tell Rachna ma'am that I'm also going to write a story now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
You
you.
should meet Ramendra sir and Veena ma'am to narrate it how. And of course, Jenny ma'am is there. The expressions to know from her. How will you go about it? Rania ma'am, Puala ma'am was there. So it's like a very nice way of retelling the stories. Thank you so much, Ramendra sir. I know it's so much difficult for you to sit for an hour together because your bag has to be changed. But still, thank you. You were there from the beginning till the end. Hats off to you. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you so much.
We truly appreciate your presence and with that smiling face always. Santosh ma'am, yes, thank you so much. Ma'am was also there, but sometimes she had switched off the camera to some extent. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving.
Rachna, for curating this wonderful idea of International Story Fest. It's really wonderful because this is an era of social media, and when we focus on these kind of events, we are trying to inculcate the creativity among the student as well as we also, because we also are forgotten because we are so becoming so busy in our day-to-day life. So that is one of the way you have created. I am really wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, this is the third year. So hopefully with all of your support, we will continue year after year
Definitely.
and will bring good storytellers too. Invite more and more good storytellers in our platform. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. The wonderful experience.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so
Lovely
much.
meeting all of you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, now recording has stopped.
Yes.
Live.
Rachna ma'am, went